Virginians, we're all proud of our higher education system. But as we continue to make cuts in their funding, they have to still find money. And it seems that over the years, they've allowed more and more out-of-state, non-Virginian students to enter, so they can charge a higher tuition. One of the benefits of that is my nephew coming from Pennsylvania, but the strange part is he pays less to come to Virginia to Tech than he will to go to Pennsylvania school as a Pennsylvania resident. So even though they need more income, we're shortchanging our residents, Virginia students. I don't know if we can put, it's hard not to give them money and then put strings on them to say, well, you can't accept as many out of state or you have to charge more for out of state. But I wonder again, are we looking at 5, 10 years down the road, what's going to happen to higher education in Virginia so that we can maintain our supremacy, so to speak, in the states?
That has been a continuing concern, and although higher education, as Tom said, has suffered a 26% cut in this budget, one of the safety valves has been tuition. They can increase tuition to help make up that cut. And the out-of-state students are paying, I think it's 125, 3 to 1. I think that we make.
The typical Virginia student, these are round figures, is paying about $7,500, and out-of-staters paying about $21,000.
Right.
So they're paying more, and they're paying more. I was going to put it a different way. They're paying more than what it costs us to educate them. So that addition is subsidizing our in-state students.
But there are just so many slots.
Absolutely.
And so if they say we need more money, they take 10 out-of-state students, perhaps that means 3 in-state, there's no chairs.
Right. And if you go out even farther, remember I said we have 0 debt capacity. We need to have a lot more classrooms in higher ed for Virginia students. And we have no ability to build them at this point. So, and that's not literally totally true, because sometimes we can put a revenue stream, but in concept that's true. So we're, it's going to be very, very competitive and tough and counterproductive what we're going to have to do in higher ed.
Let me try to put it in perspective. That's a real, little better perspective perhaps. That's a real hot issue. There are probably 10 bills in the General Assembly this year, at least 10, to limit out-of-state students. That will drive in-state tuition up probably 30%, 40%. Just to put the numbers, you hear all these horror stories about no Virginia student can get into anywhere. Virginia Tech is 76% in-state, UVA, William & Mary, the big 3, that's what everybody talks about. UVA and William & Mary are about 70%. There is a goal that it's 75. The governor has announced, I'm not sure how he's going to fund it, that he wants to have another 100,000 degrees in 15 years, and I think that's great. But don't overlook, the General Assembly about 3 years ago did a very unique program in attempting to address this, and it's really beginning to catch on. Northern Virginia Community College, and I'll use them as an example, has articulation agreements with every single in-state institution we have. And so what that means is, if you want to go to pick the school, UVA, you go over to Northern Virginia Community College and you say, I want to go to UVA and I want to study whatever. And they lay out the program in whatever, history, engineering. And if you take those classes and you get the required QCA in those classes and you get your associate's degree from Northern Virginia Community College or any of the other of our community college, you are underlined, automatically accepted into UVA. That will cost you as parents and students about 1/3 if you went to Charlottesville and did the exact same thing. And when you get out of UVA 2 years later, it doesn't say UVA, i.e. Northern Virginia Community College, it says UVA. That is a real option. George Mason this fall, 50% of the incoming freshmen at George Mason University had come out of the community college system. So it's beginning to work. My undergraduate is from Virginia Tech. I always have to tell this story. The average QCA getting into Virginia Tech this fall was 3.94 out of 4. Well, I can tell you, there's one person standing here that would not have gotten into Tech if that would have been the rules back then. We've got a problem. We're in a bubble right now. We're probably about as high a percentage of high school graduates. It starts to taper off a little bit. But I'm a bit reluctant to put these artificial numbers on it because it drives the cost up of everybody. The colleges and the universities, believe me, are very cognizant of the issue, and the numbers are not quite as bad as people say